Alrighty. Well, hello everybody. Glad to be talking with you all. I've been a huge fan of the Orville since it launched on Fox back in the day, and I've loved seeing its journey of growth throughout its seasons. And I'm excited by New Horizons from what I've seen so far. It's been it's quite the fun ride so far. Mark, I'd like to start with you. Isaac's journey at the start of this series is quite the emotional one, quite the powerful one. I'm trying to keep it spoiler free somehow. But what was it like for you when you first got the scripts for this season, seeing that premiere, especially?
Well, I was pleased to say that all those scripts came at the same time. So I didn't think, oh, that's it for me then. um, yeah, as I read the scripts, it became quite clear that this was a big season for Isaac, and that he has a fantastic arc. It's a real gift to be given that, particularly on a show like this, that it's so well written and so well developed with its characters. Yeah, I was really excited. I don't think I got all the scripts at the same time, but I got enough to know that how it was gonna play out. I think Seth might have told me over a whiskey the arc beforehand, but yeah, it was quite exciting.
So, what were some of the challenges for you then, trying to really explore this emotional arc through such a, I don't want to say robotic because he is a little more than a robot, but such a robotic type of character?
Yeah, it's an interesting question because he doesn't have emotions. So for a character who doesn't have emotions to have an emotional arc, I guess we need a new language for it, don't we? A new vocabulary. With Isaac, it's about nuance, and that nuance is brought about by logical processes. He has to act in this most logical way. I think he reacts to his environment and makes logical conclusions from that. So when it came to something so serious, like you see in the first episode, I mean, it's daft to say, but he came to the conclusion to do what he did logically, really.
Yeah, it was quite the interesting decision he made, and I was glad that it played out the way it did, because Isaac is quite the fun character. But just as fun as Isaac is Bortus and Clyden, not to leave out Peter and Chad here, because I've loved the chemistry that you two have as your characters throughout this whole show. What has that been like for you to developing that rapport off camera before bringing it into every scene?
Mhm. I don't know. We're thespians, and it's a natural vibe with Peter. We both love classical theater, and we're trained in classical theater, and we both identify with the journey of hitting the bricks in New York, and then making that transition out here. So I don't know. Peter always feels like family to me. He's just from day one, I just felt that way. The vibe felt like something we didn't have to necessarily nurture, even though we are. So I was glad to be invited back to play Clyde to his Bortus.
That's funny. Well, I will say that, what he's saying is, like, I feel like we kind of come from the same school of American actors, growing up in the theater, regional theater all over the country, particularly East Coast. And just, the way that you approach character work, you know what I mean? And I think what's been great about this complex relationship just on the page is that, I feel comfortable and, completely, safe and in the hands of, someone once told me that if you really want to find out how your show went, ask your scene partners. And I always feel like I get everything. And it's like, we're completely free. We speak the same, theatrical language and approach to the text, and we ask questions. And then that gives us a whole foundation on which we can make backstory and joke about Clyden and Bortus's relationship, and like what life is like on the ship. For the both of them, how it's different for them and what are similarities, and then you add in the whole prosthetics, like that we're under this prosthetic, and so it's and if at first I feel like people had a hard time maybe first season distinguishing Clyde and Bortus, and like, no, I'm Peter. No, are you Chad? Like, no, I'm Chad. And so like, but when you get to play a character for that long, and with underneath all that makeup, like you begin to just innately build nuance. It's something I think that what Mark was touching on. It's like, like you have that there's a and having physical training and just coming from the theater, I think is hugely helpful in getting those distinctions down, from just living in that. So yeah, it's like you have a rapport with the people that you work with. It's very similar vocabulary, which made it all the easy. If you go to season 2, where we addicted to nicotine, and just the physical comedy of all of that. My computer's not plugged in anyway. Any kids unplug my computer anyway. But like, I'm just saying, like, all of that, just trust falling with each other. Just like, you just feel bring it on, whatever it is, whatever amount of zaniness they ask us to do. It's attainable, right? I'm gonna plug my computer in. Hold on.
It's funny you mentioned the nicotine episode, because I decided to revisit the first 2 seasons before watching the screeners I was given, since it had been such a while. And so I watched the nicotine one yesterday and was just having a ball with that one. It's a great, it kills me every time.
I love all of your addictions, Peter. I love all of them.
They're all great. All of them are great. So my next question is for all of you. Since this show is now on Hulu, it made the transition from Fox to Hulu for this season. Did you feel any kind of change in the writing or the atmosphere on set? Did you notice any kind of differences in the production with this one in comparison to past seasons?
Yeah, you get a lot more bang for your buck. For sure. Doing 60 minutes versus 48 minutes, just watching those screeners, it's just so much more like it's a slower build. There's more time. It just felt like, and they were taking a long time to shoot them.
Yeah, we had to work harder, I think, was the main thing we noticed, right? Longer, harder.
Yeah, but I do feel like it gave us a little bit like more space, to
more space.
But like more, like it was a lot. I felt like it was a lot more tedious because we could get everything. You know what I mean? Like, and they were shooting everything. They 3 cameras all the time, lots and lots of different coverage. So that felt a little kind of step up to that. That did feel like there was a shift in that. But like, if you look at those screeners, like you look at what got turned in, these are movies, so that felt different for me. So I'll say that.
Seth definitely seemed happy to have more time to play with and to be able to, really tell the stories he wanted to tell. So he seemed a bit more relaxed with that, which was nice. So that, it was a sort of more, I don't know, a slightly more relaxed set environment to season 2 in terms of the creation aspect. Yeah.
Well, and that's always what you want from a production, right? Is to go in and enjoy it as much as you are doing the work. So Chad, I'll kick my next question to you. I don't recall seeing Clyden at all in the 2 episodes I was given. So I'm curious if you can kind of give me a tease of what we can expect from Clyden this season, since season 2 really did see you and Bortus in sort of a very tenuous part of your relationship.
Well, Clyden is a fierce individual, man. So he feels deeply. He loves deeply. Everything is 1,000% in for him. So it's going to be a hell of a ride, brother. It's truly, truly epic times too with what's going on with him and in terms of his relationship with his family. It's they're really ratcheting it up. They're really ratcheting it up. It's a thrill ride for sure. The pendulum swings from great joy to great sorrow. So you're gonna get the whole shebang with him. It felt like, well, hey man, if this is the last season, damn it, you're gonna get it all. So that's what it feels like, it's really, really, really very, very thrilling to what they put on the page this season. Just man, I mean, it's a joy to play this character for sure, and to rock with Peter and God, I ain't seen her in so long. What's her name, Peter?
Who?
Your daughter.
Topa, our
Yeah.
daughter. Topa.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
real,
No spoilers.
bro. It's powerful stuff. It really is. It's powerful stuff.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing more of Clyden then when the show finally comes out. Cause yeah, it's always been a really interesting ride seeing the development of your guys' relationship.
Oh, okay.
So Peter discussed it briefly earlier, but with the prosthetics, I noticed I feel like I noticed a slight difference in the facial prosthetics for you, Peter. And then Mark, it looked like you also had an entirely different suit for Isaac. Am I mistaken, or did you have differences in your designs this season?
Everything got an upgrade for this season, I think. As you can see, the ship did, the sets did, Isaac did, yeah. And I think your makeup was subtly different, wasn't it, boy?
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't want to comment too much on it because it was definitely like a transitional sort of thing. So without going into great detail, there were two different makeup teams that, ultimately, we came back to with K and B, which was the original effects crew. So yeah, there was a slight difference, but yeah, I mean, I saw it. And like, I guess if you're really paying attention, it took a little bit. I know that was a thing, you know what I mean? Without going into detail, but it was a thing to get it back to its sort of original place. So it still looked good, but it did look different. Like when I watched the screener for 301, I was like, oh wow, okay. So that's an attestament to the complicated design of that makeup. To do it years consistent. And then we to get it to do it the same every day. Is even a feat. So like it was a couple of hiccups or bumps. Like that. That's transitional. So, but I think that and I think that they were also, we had a new DP, we had, there was lots of other, some moving parts that were, that needed to find its sort of center or where its place. So, I mean, we'll see like what the rest of it looks like. But I think that that's indicative of, basically, it being sort of in a transitional space with makeup teams, and that's pretty much all I want to say about that.
Well, I certainly look forward to what the rest of the season has to hold for us. I've had a blast with what I've seen so far, and you all are always amazing. So it can't go wrong. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to chat. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.